Welcome back to Hollywood Dreammaker. I am super excited to be doing this podcast today because today is my 1 year anniversary from when I released my first episode to the Hollywood Dreammaker podcast. It was entitled Go After Your Dreams. And that's truly what I did. I had a dream of this podcast. And during COVID, I like to call it the fertilizer of COVID, the shit, I planted some seeds. I had a vision and I wanted to create a podcast and I wanted it to be global and I wanted to take, my 35 years of experience and I wanted to give it to you. I wanted to take my 35 years of relationships in Hollywood and I wanted to bring it to you. I wanted to interview guests that would drop some serious gold and nuggets for you to get further and faster where you want to go. And I'm really overwhelmed with gratitude. And this podcast is just all about gratitude, having an attitude of gratitude. And I am truly grateful to everyone that's been involved in creating my podcast. And I wanted to give out a couple of shout outs. I wanted to shout out to my friend Michelle Soro, who was such a guiding light. I took her podcast accelerator program, and I truly she guided me through creating this podcast, and Jenny Media, my producer, who's pretty amazing. Her and her talented group of people over there, they've made it so easy for me, and I feel very blessed and grateful for everything that you guys have done for me, and I just wanted you to know that. The listeners out there, I'm overwhelmed when I see my analytics and I see what I've created. I love the expression, if you build it, they will come. And I've always believed in that. When I built my acting studio 7 years ago in Manhattan Beach, I had a lot of naysayers, when I told people what I wanted to do, but I didn't listen to them. I believed in myself, and I believed that this studio would be successful, and I knew what I was, what I wanted to give. I wanted to give my wealth of knowledge, my 35 years of experience, and I built it. And they came, and I've been blessed. I've had a very successful school for 7 years. And during COVID, my doors have been closed for a year now, and COVID was kind of like a gift. And sometimes when something really bad happens, you have to kind of open up your eyes and look for the miracle. And there's been so many amazing miracles that happened during this time. And one is this podcast. This podcast came out of COVID. I didn't have time before COVID to do this. My schedule is crazy busy, but when things slowed down a little bit, I said, well, I'm going to make this podcast a reality. And now I am 26 episodes into my podcast, and I've had some amazing guests on the show, and I want to thank them all. I want to thank my first guest, the Academy Award winner Bobby Moresco. The really inspirational podcast about a guy from Hell's Kitchen who self-educated, learned how to screenwrite by reading books, and wrote his way to the Academy Awards and won, the Oscar for best screenplay for Crash. He came on and he dropped some serious golden nuggets. So if you haven't listened to that episode, please do. You're cheating yourself if you haven't listened to that one. My friend Andy Dillon, he's a top stunt coordinator, stuntman in Hollywood. And, if you want to be a stuntman and you don't know how to get started, well, Andy came on to my show and he shared some serious golden nuggets on, how do you become a stuntman? Emilio Rivera, what an inspirational story. Emilio's podcast was, here's a guy who was in the gang life, who had a drug problem, you know, saw 44 of his friends die in that world, decided to clean up his act, to give up the drugs, to follow his dream. And he became a working actor. I mean, I worked with him on a couple of projects. He has his own show, Minds, and he's got 3 shows, I believe, right now. I mean, he made the dream a reality. Joseph McClendon, a neuropsychologist, was on, and he shared some amazing gold on the laws of attraction and how we manifest things, and how we are a magnet for things, and how when we write things we invite them. I mean, there was so many golden nuggets in that, and this is a man who speaks in front of 30,000 people, and he's highly regarded as a coach, and he came onto the show and he just dropped some amazing gold. So I'm very grateful for that. And it's crazy on how that all came about. It's truly the power of visualization. I mean, I saw him on stage for the first time at a Tony Robbins event, and the guy was just magnetic. He took a crowd of, I think it was like 15, 20,000 people in there, and he just had him in the palm of his hands. He was amazing. He was a really amazing. And I said to myself, man, I'd like to work with that guy. And then, the universe made that happen. And, he was on my podcast, and he has his own podcast. So if you haven't heard it, you want to listen to it. Um, then there was Kanika Sue. There was a talent manager. She came on board and she dropped some serious gold on what it's like, to be an actor and trying to get representation. Ilya Volok, who's an actor from Russia, who came out to Hollywood late in the game, and he went after his dream, and he's worked with some of the biggest actors in Hollywood, A-list actors, Tom Cruise, Harrison Ford, Will Smith. He made the dream a reality. I had David Proval, a wonderful actor, that dropped some amazing gold on so many years. I mean, the guy's been. I worked with him in 1977 on my first film. He inspired me to become an actor because they were shooting a movie in my neighborhood. So we shared some great stories about the industry, and I'm just so grateful because this is a guy who truly inspired me to become an actor, and I had him on the show. Phil Morris, a very talented actor, shared some great stuff about voiceover work and the industry. Lucas Till was an amazing podcast. I mean, he came on, their Entertainment Tonight or E or whatever, one of these shows. They were trying to get him to talk about what he was going through on his show MacGyver. He had a producer that was bullying him, and he didn't talk to any of them, but he came onto my podcast and opened up. And I mean, that podcast went through the roof. And he truly launched my YouTube channel because everybody wanted to know if there was video to the podcast, and I did have the video element of it, so I released it on YouTube, and it got a crazy amount of views. And so I'm very grateful for Lucas to coming on the show. um Jeffrey Horn, my acting teacher when I was 15, and I was kind of lost, and I went to Lee Strasberg, and I had such a great acting teacher. I mean, he's acting, still to this day. He's still working on his craft, and he's still teaching the craft. And it was just a great episode about really, how to really tap into your true emotions, your childhood emotions. And there was some really beautiful stuff shared in that. My friend Tony Luke, actor, songwriter, producer, he dropped so much gold. I can go on. RB Bato, the CEO of Stage 32, actor Rudy Ramos, Louis Lombardi, Donnie Brasco, the real Donnie Brasco, Joe Pistone, and Leo Rossi came on the show and shared some great stories. Bobby Costanza, Alexia Maloki, my beautiful wife, talked about how to get into modeling. My friend Patrick Newell, who's a producer on a huge project right now, a $200 million project with A-list actors. This is a guy from Brooklyn that came out to Hollywood with $500. So, a big thank you to all of my guests that have come on, that have shared their wealth, their knowledge. If you have not listened to their podcast, you definitely want to check them out because they really shared so many beautiful golden nuggets. And thank you to all of you for being vulnerable and opening yourselves up, and sharing yourself with the world, and really truly with the world. And I want to thank, I mean, The dream was to create a podcast and to go global. And, when I look at my analytics and I see, where I am, I'm in the United States, I'm in the United Kingdom, I'm in Germany. This is a shout out to everybody in Australia, South Africa, Belgium, Spain, Thailand, Japan, Italy, Brazil, France, United Arab Emirates, Malaysia, India, Russia, Greece, Mexico, Dominican Republic, uh, Austria, Turkey, Taiwan, the Netherlands, Peru, Romania, Switzerland, Ireland, Portugal, Singapore, Czech Republic, Denmark, Kenya, Macedonia, New Zealand, Poland, Colombia, Morocco, Philippines. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. But this podcast, thank you to everyone. If I didn't mention your country, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to, I built this for you and you've come, and I'm grateful, truly grateful for all of you listeners that have come and you're enjoying the podcast. I've had many people reach out to me and told me how inspired they are by the podcast. And that was my goal from the dream, was to inspire. If a guy like me, a kid from Brooklyn that can come out to Hollywood with 200 bucks in my pocket and a one-way ticket, didn't know a soul out here. If I can make that dream a reality, if I can be blessed to become a working actor and have my dream visualized, then why can't you? If I can do it, you can do it. If Emilio Rivera can do it, oh, my friend Brian Goodman, I didn't mention him. And what we'll talk about an inspirational story. I mean, this guy was shot. He was in federal prison. He was a criminal pretty much, and he decided to get out of prison and he clean up his act and change his life and go after the acting and became a very successful director and a very successful actor. So if a guy like that can do it, why can't you do it? So, if you have this passion, if you have this dream in your heart, then you have to go after it, and you have to go after it like you mean it. And I've learned so many valuable lessons along the way. Even with my guests, so much. So they drop so many golden nuggets. I mean, I can't even begin to start. There's just it's about relationships. It's about being, you know, likable. Somebody you want to work with. Somebody that has a smile on their face and a can-do attitude. Professional, prepared. You want to be the actor that is. More prepared than everybody else. You want to outwork them, out choice them, out prep them, out everything. I did a whole podcast on the art of the audition. If you're an actor, you definitely want to listen to that podcast. I also created, I found a list and I had this list of goals that I wanted to do for 2020. And I found that little piece of paper and I was amazed because, one of them was the podcast and going global. Check. Thank you very much. Done, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful and I have some amazing shows coming and the podcast is not going anywhere. If you guys are still out there and you're listening, I'm going to bring as many talented guests on the show so they can give you this beautiful knowledge so you can get to where you want to go faster, further. I'm just grateful, truly grateful to my wife, to all the people that have supported me in this journey. All you know who you are out there, all you listeners, I'm truly grateful. But on that list, I said, okay, I want to create my podcast. So check, the podcast is done. I said, I want to create a new website. I had an old website. Check. So if you can go to billygallo.com, you can check out my website. It has my acting, my producing, my humanitarian work, my podcast, everything's there. And I created a gift for you. It's called The Art of the Audition. It's a free PDF download. So all you have to do is, put in your email and you will be able to download this free PDF. And it's what I teach my actors about the art of the audition and what to do and what not to do and how to become a working actor. I'm also creating my digital course, my Hollywood Dreammaker digital course. I've been blessed, since COVID, I have this, the studio, there's no actors, but I'm online. So it doesn't matter where you are. I don't care what country you're in. You can study with me. And, I, I have such a success rate. I mean, I've had so many actors knock on my door and they had no idea on how to get started. They just knew they had this dream and this passion and now they're working actors. And if I did it for myself and I could do it for them, I can also do it for you. So, look out for my Hollywood Dreammaker digital course, which is coming out. If you go to my website, I also on my list was, okay, I wanted to create a YouTube channel. Check. If you haven't been to my YouTube channel, please subscribe, rate, review, share it with your friends. All of my video element of my podcast is there. You can watch the video instead of listening to it. You can actually watch it. So I'm very grateful for that. I said I was going to do social media. I'm not, I used to have this whole thing. I don't do social media, but I really realized if I want to share my voice and my message with the world, I have to get outside my comfort zone. I mean, this is uncomfortable for me. I'm not I'm an actor. I like to become a character. I like to hide behind the mask of the character. So it's not me and I'm free and I can do whatever I want. So I had to find my true voice. I had to get out of my head and I had to get out of my way to create this podcast. And I had to get comfortable being uncomfortable because this is not comfortable. Me talking to a camera is not comfortable, but so what? Everything you want in life is outside your comfort zone, but you got to get outside your comfort zone. So if you want something, you want to feel uncomfortable. When your heart, when I do this, I get a little heart palpitation. My heart beats a little faster and people could call it nervous. Well, I call it excitement because I know this is my instrument. This is the universe telling me I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. This is the right path. When I feel that, it means green light, go. This is where you want to be. People pay a lot of money for that. They jump out of friggin' planes, they climb mountains, they whatever to get that adrenaline rush. I get that in the safety of my studio here on my stage. So you want that. You want to dance with that. That's for actors, I always say that's like batteries for actors. You want that. So embrace it. It's not nervous, it's excitement. It's just telling you you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So this really is truly about gratitude. I just wanted to jump on real quick and I wanted to thank all of you, truly the listeners. Please, if you haven't gone on to Apple Podcasts and, you know, put a review there, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't shared this, if you know some actor, or maybe it's not an actor, maybe just somebody that needs some inspiration. This podcast is not only about acting, it's about everything. It's about the Hollywood dream. I've had, like I said, talent managers, directors, writers, producers. I have casting directors coming on board. It's just about anybody who has a dream. If you have that dream in your heart, then go after it. You don't want to go to your deathbed and go, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I didn't. Tick tock. Okay. Life is short. Don't waste this time. Go after your dreams with a vengeance, with passion, and you can make it a reality. If I've had 26 podcasts, every one of these people had a dream, and they all come from different places and tough upbringings and whatever. But it doesn't, your past does not equal your future. If you believe it and you don't listen to the naysayers and you go after your dreams with a passion and vengeance, then you can make it a reality. I believe in you. You have to believe in you. You gotta see what you want. I want you to create a vision. I want you to create a vision board. Put it in front of you. See what you want. Visualize it. And then I want you to make a list. These are my goals. These are my actions. This is what I'm going to do to make that goal a reality. And then go after it like you mean it. This is not a business you go in, you give 50%. You got to go and give 150%. You got to want it more than the next person. You got to be hungry and you got to never, ever quit. Never, ever quit on your dream. Go after it like you mean it. I believe in you. You can do this. Stay safe. Stay healthy. I'm super excited for what's coming in this new year. And my new guest is going to be coming on the show. So please continue to be out there. Continue to listen. I really appreciate your support. And I will talk to you next time. Take care. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Please rate, review, share this with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't. Please take whatever you get from here, the golden nuggets, and apply them to your career. Go after your dreams with passion. Don't let anybody tell you it can't be done. I believe in you. Follow your dreams. I'll see you in Hollywood.